How can we design our lives? I'm a UX designer in London, and there's a term called design thinking. This is a thought process used to help designers formulate solutions to their problems. A concept to approach your life goals. A design thinking framework to follow as opposed to a vague approach or plan. So let's tackle how can you change your life by design. UX stands for user experience, whether it's a physical product, piece of software, or a website. If they've had a UX team behind building it, every part of the experience has been carefully thought out. Design thinking is a strategic process that, when done properly, the product should be effortless to use. As a designer, you need to imagine solutions to problems that don't even exist yet. And the same process can be applied to your own life too. Imagine a job sector that you haven't even worked in before. And if you're working in a job that you already love, that's great. You're in a lucky position. When you start to think like a designer, you ask more thought-provoking questions. Because you can easily go through life being told that life is a particular way because that's just the way it is. But everything around us has been imagined, and it has been a solution to a problem that someone has found. Start where you are. Too often when we want to create change for ourselves, we want to do a total turnaround, when all that is needed is to perform a few little tweaks with what you already have. Because in some cases, even if you make a bold move, it might not be solving your actual problem. That's why it's crucial to assess your situation before you make any changes. It helps you better understand of where you are and what areas of your life need to be redesigned. And we can do this by looking at 4 key areas: health, work, play, and love, and rank them from 0 to 100. 100 being super satisfied and full. There's no right or wrong answer, but this will help as a visual representation. Frame your goals and define the problem. Problem finding plus problem solving equals a well-designed life. In design thinking, there is as much emphasis on finding the problem as it is on solving it. And your problem could be anything. It could be solving your financial stability, working in a new job sector, wanting to study a language, or even traveling for the year. When you have a clear understanding on your problem, we can move on to the next step. Brainstorm your possible. So you've jotted down your problem that you want to solve. The next stage would be to do some brainstorming, and that includes writing down different variations to problems that you want to solve. And don't let this be confused on finding the worst variations and the best variations. These are all different variations that would all get you to your goal. In the design world, we call this the ideation phase. As designers, we love to ideate crazy ideas more than the sensible ones. Why? Because the enemy of creativity is judgment. Judgment means doing a norm, doing what is already accepted. And we all know in order to have accelerated change in our circumstances, we need bold ideas. So ideate your future. Think of a handful of different ways you could solve your problem. Maybe even include a wildcard solution, something outlandish, or something that had no financial constraint, or even something when you think about it just gives you butterflies. The goal here is to expand your capacity for generating ideas when thinking of solutions for your problems when designing your life. I remember when I first started learning Spanish, my first idea was to use an app. That didn't really work out. Then my second idea was to start using grammar books. That definitely didn't work out. And then I started to read short stories. That started to work out for me. And from there I experimented with different ways on consuming Spanish and learning. Until I went on to do the crazy. I went to Spain for 3 months to learn Spanish in school. This is probably the one most best and beneficial things that I've done in order to progress my level and my speaking. And that's something that I never thought I would do, but I only got to that point because I experimented with different solutions to the problem I had. I didn't just go with the first idea. Our minds are generally lazy and we like to get rid of problems as quick as possible. Do not fall in love with your first idea, and this relationship almost never works out. Most often, our first ideas are pretty average and they're never genuinely quite creative. Learning to use this ideation technique helps you to overcome bias to the obvious and helps you gain the sense of creative confidence. So as a life designer, you need to embrace 3 philosophies when it comes to design thinking. More is better. You choose better when you have lots of ideas to choose from. There's no judgment. The only way to brainstorm a bunch of ideas is by first deferring judgment and silencing your inner critic. So reserve your judgment to release your creative forces. You never choose your first solution to any problem. Why? Because that means you haven't thought it out through yet. Hence, more is better because the more ideas lead to better solutions. Build some prototypes. Prototyping your life design is all about asking good questions, outing your hidden biases and assumptions, iterating rapidly and creating momentum for the path that you want to try out. In design, we have something called the minimum viable product. It's where you create a more simplified version or product of your design from start to finish, just in order for you to test it. And I'm a big believer in testing out your ideas before you go full steam ahead. I've seen it way too many times where someone has an idea about something and they just go all in without doing adequate research or planning. Prototypes help you visualize alternatives in a very experimental way because you're actually living it. It's a taster, if you like, or even a trial period. Have a conversation. Talk to someone who is either doing and living what you're currently contemplating. Learn from them. Experience it first. The best way to learning is by doing. Make a decision. So now you've gone through the process of gathering all these different ideas, and now you need to narrow them down. And one of the main problems we have and we need to get rid of is that we attach happiness onto one solution. We say to ourselves, you have to make the right choice and everything else will just fall into place. When in reality, most people don't have one singular thing that they're passionate about. There's not one driver or motivator that drives all their decisions. All you really have control of is how you make that decision and how you live that choice once it's been made. So let's reframe that belief. To be happy, you've got to commit to making a choice and let go of all other choices that no longer serve you. Make a choice, give your full attention to it, and let go of everything else. Designers don't waste their futures hoping for a better past. Fall in love with the adventure of actively designing your life. In the end, a well-designed life is a well-lived life, fully tested to its limits. A portfolio of experiences, failures and successes. It's a big pile of important lessons and hardships that have made you stronger, helping you become a better person. Anyways guys, hopefully these tips will help you in order to design your life. If you like this video, please smash the like button, comment below if you have any suggestions. I appreciate you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in another video. Thank you, bye bye.